Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 11 of Polity Premier League 2025. Let's begin. First question. Which of the following statements regarding Article 19 of the Indian Constitution is or are correct? The right to freedom of speech and expression includes the right to criticize government policies. Yes, of course, this is correct. In any way, a democracy, you have full freedom to criticize government policies, right? So, one is correct. The right to assemble peacefully can be restricted in the interest of public order. Of course, the right to assemble peacefully can be restricted not only in the interest of public order, but to also ensure what? Ensuring sovereignty as well as the integrity of India. To ensure these, we can of course restrict the right to assemble peacefully, peaceably, and of course without arms. So, two is also correct. Third one, the right to form associations and unions does not include the right to strike. Right to form associations and unions has no relationship to right to strike. And anyway, the right to assemble also does not include the right to strike. Right to strike is more of a statutory right. And this right has been obtained through a law called Industrial Disputes Act, where this strike is defined. So it is not a fundamental right. So yes, 3 is also correct. This means right answer is D, 1, 2, and 3. Next question. Consider the following statements about the right to equality, that is Articles 14 to 18. Article 16 provides for equality of opportunity in matters of public employment but allows reservation for backward classes. Yes, of course. Article 15 provides for general non-discrimination as well as reservation in education, whereas Article 16 provides for, of course, equal opportunity in public employment along with reservation in public employment. Article 17 abolishes untouchability, but its enforcement is limited to social practices and not economic discrimination. No, it covers every kind of discrimination. So let's say untouchability is also defined as if you prevent any SC person from, let's say, running a shop, etc., getting a particular kind of job, and such other things. So this is actually incorrect. And third one, Article 18 prohibits the state from conferring titles including military honors like Paramveer Chakra. First part was of course correct, but second part is wrong because Article 18 does prohibit the state from conferring titles. However, the exception is military titles as well as what kind of titles? Academic titles. So these two are exceptions. They can be conferred on individuals. So 2 and 3 are wrong. Which statement is incorrect? Right answer is B, 2 and 3. Next question. With reference to the right to constitutional remedies, that is Article 32, consider the following statements. Writs under Article 32 can only be issued against the state and not private individuals. Now, this is incorrect. Why? Because a writ of habeas corpus can be issued against both or against either the state or even private individuals. So one is wrong. The Supreme Court has original and exclusive jurisdiction in cases involving violation of fundamental rights is wrong. Why? Because cases involving violation of fundamental rights can also be resolved or complaints can be raised with respect to the violation of these rights, where in the high courts as well. So it might be original because you can directly move to Supreme Court, but it is not exclusive because it is shared with the High Court. So 2 is wrong. Right answer is D. Next question. Which of the following rights are available to both citizens and non-citizens under Part 3? So there are 5 rights which are available to citizens only. Please remember Article 15, Article 16, Article 19, Article 29, and Article 30. These 5 rights are available to Indian citizens only. Every other right, fundamental right, is available to both citizens and non-citizens. So 14 yes to non-citizens also, 19 no to only citizens, 21 to everyone, 23 for everyone. So 1, 3 and 4, C being the right answer. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following is not a ground for imposing reasonable restrictions on the fundamental rights under Article 19, sovereignty and integrity of India, protection of ecology and environment, decency or morality, friendly relations with foreign states? So, this is, of course, a restriction. This is a restriction. Even this is a restriction. Protection of ecology is not a restriction under Article 19, hence B is the right answer. Next question. Consider the following statements about Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. It guarantees the right to life and personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Absolutely correct. This is what is Article 21. The scope of Article 21 has been expanded by judicial interpretation to include the right to privacy, right to education, and a healthy environment, among other things. This is also correct. Number three, the procedure established by law must be fair, just, and reasonable as per the principle of natural justice. Yes, since the Menka Gandhi case of the year 1978, we have also incorporated the idea of what? The idea of due process, which means fairness, the principles of natural justice, the idea of fair laws, not just fairness in the application of laws. So 3 is also correct. Right answer is D, 1, 2, and 3. Next question. Which of the following statements regarding the right to freedom of religion, Articles 25 to 28, is or are correct? Article 25 guarantees freedom of conscience and the right to profess, practice, and propagate your religion is correct, of course. Article 27 prohibits the state from compelling any person to pay taxes for the promotion of any particular religion. Yes, no jizya type taxes to be imposed on people. And number three, Article 28 allows religious instruction in educational institutions wholly maintained by the state. No, this is wrong. If, uh, if an educational institution is wholly maintained by the state, then sadly, religious instructions will not be allowed. So 3 is incorrect. Right answer is A, 1 and 2 only. Next question, a question from DPSP. Consider the following statements about the directive principles of state policy. DPSPs are enforceable by courts. Oh, DPSPs are not enforceable by courts. This is what is the content of Article 37. Extremely important. Please always, when you revise DPSP, specifically go and read Article 37 every time you visit or revisit this topic. So, yes, one has to be wrong, even though the second part is correct. They are considered fundamental in the governance. That is true. Second one, Article 44 provides for the uniform civil code across the territory of India. Yes. Article 48 promotes the organization of agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines is also correct. So the right answer in this case is B, 2 and 3. Next question. With reference to Article 45 of the Indian Constitution, which of the following statements is or are correct? Article 45. It mandates the provision of early childhood care and education, which is referred to as ECCE, for all children until they complete the age of 6 years. Yes, it was amended by the 86th Amendment Act, yes, to reflect the new education policy. And the implementation of this directive is primarily the responsibility of the state government. Actually, this statement is correct because this implementation of this directive is the primary responsibility, or is rather primarily the responsibility of the state governments. Why I say this? I mean, there are plenty of ways to understand this idea. For example, look at the federal structure of the concept of education. Education, yes, is in the concurrent list firstly, which means both central and states can make laws. However, states have greater responsibility because of the localized nature of education, be it appointing teachers, establishing schools, running these Anganwadi centers, and of course, the concept of proximity to people, right? So that is also one idea or one reason rather. So state governments are way better equipped to address local needs such as tailoring policies to the linguistic, cultural, and the socio-economic conditions. Then, of course, while the center funds various programs like the Shiksha Abhiyan, ICDS, the states are the ones which execute them. In fact, think of something like RTE Act 2009. The states are implementing them, right? So the role of center is complementary, related to, say, policy formulation, financial assistance, etc. And of course, creating a broad legislative framework. Okay. So here 1, 2, and 3 are correct. D is the right answer. Next question. Consider the following statements about the preamble of the Indian Constitution. The preamble is not enforceable by courts. Yes, of course, but serves as a guiding light for interpreting the Constitution. Yes, Supreme Court has said that the Indian Constitution should be read in the light of the grand and noble vision of the preamble. So one is of course right. The words "we the people of India" signify the ultimate sovereignty of the people. This is also correct. We the people of India have given to ourselves. So who is the source of power? We are the source of power. The preamble explicitly mentions the separation of powers among the three branches. No, it is not mentioned explicitly. So A, 1 and 2 are correct. Next question. Which of the following statements regarding the official languages of India is or are correct? Hindi in the Devanagari script is the official language of the Union under Article 343, Part 17. Yes. To extend the use of English beyond a period of 15 years after the commencement of the Constitution required a constitutional amendment. Of course not. The Official Language Act passed in 1963 was a law passed by the Parliament, and this Article 343 also clarifies that Parliament by law can extend the use of English beyond the first 15-year period as well. So 2 is wrong. Number 3. Article 351 directs the Union to promote the spread of Sanskrit language. So this is wrong. Article 351 directs the Union to promote the spread of not Sanskrit but Hindi. Okay. Which of the statements given above is or are? Let's make this incorrect and then you can mark the answer. 2 and 3B will be the right answer because 1 is correct, 2 and 3 are wrong. Minor change in the question. That's what we say. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Anyway, next question. Which of the following statements about fundamental duties, that is part 4A, is or are correct? They were added by the 44th Amendment Act 1978 is wrong. So they were added through the 42nd Amendment Act of the year 1976 based on the recommendations of the Swarn Singh Committee is correct. Can you please tell me which other part to the Indian Constitution was added on the recommendation of Sardar Swarn Singh Committee? Please write that in the comment section. Fundamental duties are enforceable by courts similar to fundamental rights. Of course, not fundamental duties are non-enforceable. So 2 is wrong, 1 is wrong. One of the duties includes safeguarding public property and abjuring violence is correct. So which statement is incorrect? 1 and 2 are incorrect. Then the next question, which of the following directive principles are classified as Gandhian principles? Organization of village panchayats, yes, a Gandhian principle. Promotion of cottage industries, yes, a Gandhian principle. Uniform Civil Code, Article 44, of course not. This is a liberal intellectual principle, not a Gandhian principle. Right answer is A. Then the next question, which of the following statements best reflects the significance of the preamble as per the Supreme Court in the Keswanand Bharati case? So it is the source of all fundamental rights. Number 2, it is not a part of the Constitution. So the significance of preamble. Of course, preamble is not the source of all fundamental rights. Preamble is actually a part of the Constitution. On its own, preamble is not enforceable in courts. It must be read with other parts to derive the fuller meaning of the Constitution. So 1, 2, and 3 are wrong. This means D has to be the right answer. It is a part of the Constitution and reflects its basic structure. D is the right answer. This brings us to an end of our discussion for this video. Let's meet in the next video. Till then, that is all for me. Jai Hind.